So this isn't really working. What we've decided to do is we're going to actually move these trees and probably this one as well. Hello, howdy, and welcome. I'm Kathryn and I'm the Aerogarden Homesteader. Today I am starting a new series. This is a garden series for starting an outdoor garden. Because I do every year, but I thought I would take you along with me and hopefully you could plan your own garden. Yes, it's January. Yes, you do kind of have to start this early. So, homework. You need to find your zone. I'm in 7A. And your last estimated frost. So, mine is April 14th this year. It was the 11th 2 years ago, and it was the 12th last year. So these dates do change. You got to look them up every year. They should be approximately around the same time because the historical data hasn't changed that much. It's recent years that have been starting to change. So you're also going to have to keep an eye on the weather. I have been keeping notes on my calendar every year, and I keep all of my calendars. I need to get a better setup. One of these days I will come up with a digital calendar or a digital database of some sort that, I can use, but today's not the day. Now, once I have this info, the next thing I'm going to do is, for me, I am switching around my gardening space. So I'm going to sort of walk you through what I have and what I'm doing. Now, if you already have gardening space, you just draw out your rows and you'll know exactly what you have. If you don't have garden space and you're like, oh, I'm going to start making a garden this year, then this might be helpful for you. So every time I touch my screen, it moves. But what I'm going to do is basically my backyard. I can't use the whole backyard. Other kids want a place to play. We've got some trees growing. But for the most part, I have my water irrigation up in this corner. I have this big, huge row of privacy hedge, and this is going to be upside down. So just so you have reference, that is north. So this, because, the sun is sort of tracking across the sky over here, this shades out a lot. It just shades out a lot. So get rid of those lines. I don't need them. What I used to have was I have a fence here, a trellising, and I would put all my tomatoes along here. So that's going to change. I also have some garden space here this also has a fence on it. I have this one here, which is now full of strawberries, so that one's kind of out. I have a row of trees with a random tree here and here, and I have another row of trees. So this isn't really working. What we've decided to do is we're going to actually move these trees and probably this one as well. So let's get rid of those. We're going to move them along the side here. And then I now have garden space here where the trees were going to go. And then that's all I can use. So I'm going to turn this into 2 nice big beds. And I'm going to put my tomatoes in. So let's grab another color. So I'm going to fit in however many tomatoes I can fit per section. And then for other things, I'm going to come in, I'm going to put beans and peas and anything that I can just put on this trellising. Now, this isn't the greatest place to put stuff because, like I said, this big, huge privacy hedge, it does block a lot of stuff. I do get sun coming in from over here that does give late day sun, so I'm hoping it'll be fine. I can also put like squash, zucchini, and other vegetables over here, but I won't be able to put that many because of the strawberries. Now I also have some strawberries. I guess I'll give them a different color. This is strawberries. I do have some strawberries all along here, and I might put some more strawberries here. So these strawberries here and here are hula berries, and they're not the best when it comes to pollination. They need a pollinator. So I'm hoping by putting in some over here, I keep them separated enough that they're not going to grow into each other and one outcompeting the other. But I also want to make sure that they've got a pollinator, and that's what I'm doing there. So back over here, where this is going to be my main garden space. So I'm going to interplant with peppers and flowers and herbs, basil. I'm trying new things. I'm going to try like really interplanting a lot of stuff here. And then, like I said, I'm going to have like zucchini. This is probably going to be pumpkin. I do have a little bit of onion that I would like to plant. So I'll probably stick some onion in, mixed in with the tomatoes and peppers and things. I do have some raised beds alongside the deck space. So I got 4 of them. And that fills up the garden stuff. So I do have some June berries. So I'm gonna, if they survive the winter, I'm going to move them into there. And if I can get some herbs growing, I'd like to get like a little herb growing bed in this raised bed. So this is my garden plan. This is my yard space. I have been watching this space every year for the last, 4 or 5 years. We've been in this house about 5 years, I think, maybe 6. So I've been gardening for those years. And every year I do something a little bit different. So last year and the year before, I kind of stuck with the same thing. I switched things around a little bit, tried to interplant more. But this year I wanted to expand the garden into a space that I feel will be better because of the light issue. So that's the big thing for me. And I know this from watching my yard. The house it's literally right over here. So the house shades out part of the yard. This hedge shades out part of the yard. So I really only have a small window of, sunlight in the backyard if I want to grow things. Sure, if we want to enjoy a nice shady yard and the coolness of, hey, we got the perfect yard for that. But we don't have a great yard for growing, and I am making do with what I have. And this is what I have. So the front yard, you're probably like, oh, the front yard, just use that. The front yard is filled with about 20 fruit trees. Okay, so that's our orchard. And it's better to just put it out front because it's something that we can maintain and keep relatively small and tidy without it being, kind of messy like a garden can sometimes get. I kind of let my tomatoes go. We don't have the hornwort problem out here in Washington State, or I haven't encountered it yet. So I don't know if we have it or not, but I just let my tomatoes grow hog wild. I will prune off some of the lower branches as they're growing, but once they get established, it's the Wild West out in my garden. So this is how I am planning my garden space. And I will come in here and I will try to add in, I'll figure out what I can plant and how many I can plant, but I'm going to go through my seeds. That'll probably be the next video. I'm going to go through my seeds. We're going to use, the information that we got here to start deciding when to start seeds, what seeds to start, and what'll grow in our zone. So figure this part out. Figure out your zone and your frost date, and next week we will start working on it from there. I do not know how many videos in this series I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to do them every week. I will do my best to come up with something, but you know what? Not every week is going to have something that needs to get done, but we'll see. If you don't have a yard, you can do this on a patio or a deck or whatever little tiny window space you have. Get a little pot and grow an herb. It is fine. It is okay to dream. Go on Zillow, find a house that's for sale, look at the backyard photos, look at Google Maps there to what the yard looks like. Don't do this for someone's house. It's kind of a little creepy, but if it's a house that's for sale or vacant or whatever, or make up a backyard. Make up your dream yard and just dream. Give this a try, but use your zone and your area so that you can watch the weather. You can see what's going on. Because I would not have known that I only have like a small window of sunlight in my yard if I haven't been watching it for, the however many years I've been watching it. So that's something that's kind of important. And you want to know, what's your weather like? Do the frosts come early? April 14th. I sometimes will put stuff in the ground around that time, but sometimes I have to wait because, the weather's just crappy. I think last year we had a really late snowfall that, it almost devastated our fruit harvest. We had very little, and it devastated the fruit harvest in our area because of it. So it's really important to kind of take note of these things and mark them on your calendar. And so every year I go back and I look at my calendars. When did I start my seeds? I make notes too. I started my tomato seeds too early one year. They were so tall and spindly, I had to plant them like so deep. I had to make trenches and like lay them sideways. And I mean, it was just weird. It was horrible. A couple years back, I started putting my seedlings out on the deck. Those were the biggest, strongest, stockiest seedlings I have ever had. And so every year I try something different, and I try to see what works best. And that's what this is about. Make notes. Somewhere. Keep notes. And then go back to make sure you add to those notes. So I started my seedlings too early this year. The next year, I started my seedlings, my pepper plants. Oh my gosh, my pepper plants took forever, and they were tiny little things when I put them in the ground. I obviously didn't start them early enough, and I mustn't have fed them properly or something. But anyways, this is today's video. Use it to dream, use it to start a garden, just use it somehow. But I'm going to be starting seeds. I will show you that. I will take you along for my journey, from my zone, and you can try to base that on your zone. That's actually why I want you to get these numbers, because you can use your numbers, and I will show you how I'm using my numbers so that you can calculate from your numbers. I am trying to make this useful. So if you did find it useful, it'd be really nice if you'd like and share, so I know that you liked it and that you found it useful. Leave some comments. Let me know what zone you're in and what you're planning on growing, so that I can, maybe I can talk about it if I have some experience with it. I've never grown Brussels sprouts, but hey, maybe this is the year I give it a try. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It really helps me get found in the algorithm, and it will help you stay informed of when the next video comes out in this series. So I really want you guys to follow along with me and do this. I want to see pictures of a garden that you started because you followed this series. So stay tuned for the next episode, and I will see you next time on the Aerogarden Homestead.